today's lesson, we're going to be talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. So our learning target is to write an equation for a line that's either parallel or perpendicular to a given line. So first, let's start by talking about parallel lines. If you look, we have a picture off to the side. So you see two lines. So when you look at these two lines, you are thinking, oh, well, parallel lines never actually cross each other. So if they don't cross each other, then that means they have to have the same or identical slope. And if you look at the picture, you'll notice that the y-intercepts cannot be the same. They have to be different. Okay, so let's talk about perpendicular next then. Perpendicular lines. Well, to figure out how they compare, let's actually calculate the slope of these two lines. So on A, I'm just going to draw a triangle between my two slopes and count spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's up 6. So that's positive. And then 1, 2, 3. So that's 3. So I would have 6 over 3, which reduces to 2 over 1. So now let's count the spaces for the next line. Oops. So for this one, we're going to go down 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go right 6. So that would be negative 3 over 6, which reduces to negative 1/2. Well, how do these two compare? Does everybody notice that one's positive and one's negative? So since they have different signs, that's where we get the word opposite, because they have opposite signs. And then if you look at 1 over 2 and 2 over 1, you're going to notice, oh, well, those two things are just reciprocals of each other. So how do perpendicular lines compare? They are called opposite reciprocals. So down here they have opposite, which I'm going to abbreviate as OPP. So opposite reciprocal slopes. So remember, one has to be positive, one has to be negative, and then the numbers have to be flipped of each other. So moving on to our example. I'm going to give you two lines, and your job is to figure out the slope of each line, and then we can either classify it as parallel because they have the same, perpendicular because they're opposite reciprocal, or neither if neither one of those are true. So on A, the first one, on the first line, to get y by itself, I'm going to have to divide everything by 3. So I get y equals negative 4/3 x plus 2. So my slope for this line, I'll circle it here, is negative 4/3. Second line, it's already in slope-intercept form, so I can pick the slope really easy of that one, which is negative 3/4. So are they identical? No. Are they perpendicular? No. They might be reciprocals, but they're not opposite because both of them are negatives. So then our answer for this problem is neither. Okay, on B, I have to do some work to put these in slope-intercept form. So the first thing I have to do is take the x and move it over. And remember, when you move it over, it switches the sign, so it becomes negative 3x. And then I have to divide by the 5 in front of the y. So I have y equals negative 3/5 x plus 6/5. But I'm only concerned about the slope, so I'll circle that, which is negative 3/5. So on the second one, once again, I'm going to move my x over. So negative 3y equals negative 5x plus 2. Divide both sides by -3. And remember, negative divided by negative is a positive 5/3 x minus 2/3. Circle my slope. And then you're going to notice, well, they're not identical, so it's not parallel. Perpendicular. One's negative, one's positive, check. And then 3/5, if I flip it over, it becomes 5/3. So yes, it is perpendicular. Okay, this one, it's already in slope-intercept form on the first one, so I'll just circle my slope, which is -2. Second one, I have to move my 2x over, so y equals -2x plus 3. Circle my slope, which is -2. And then you're going to say, oh, the slopes are identical. They're both -2, so that makes it parallel. Pause the video and you try the triads. Okay. Moving on. Now we are going to be given some different information, and our job is to actually write an equation that is parallel or perpendicular. So to help you out, we have 3 steps. Step number 1 says identify the original slope and then cross out the given y-intercept. Because remember, they both have different y-intercepts, whether we're talking about parallel or whether we're talking about perpendicular. Then step number 2 says make sure you're reading the problem very carefully to identify whether we're doing parallel or perpendicular, so we know what to do to the slope. And then step 3 says we're going to find a new equation by using our new slope and the given point to find the new y-intercept to write the new equation. So let's try all that. Example number 3. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the line they gave us. And you need to take that line and put it into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to move the -3x over, and it becomes positive. Then I'm going to divide everything by 4. So y equals 3/4 x minus 2. Then I'm going to circle my slope. I'm going to cross off my y-intercept. So right now, is everyone good with saying my current slope is 3/4? Okay. In the original problem, it says we want to write a parallel equation. So is everyone good? Parallel means same slope. Okay, so we're going to use the same slope of 3/4, and we're going to use our new point, which is 8, 9. Now we're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form. So remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And remember, 8 is in the x spot, y is in the 9 spot, or 9 is in the y spot, sorry. And then what you're going to do is you're going to plug in everything except for the letter b. So for y, you're going to say 9 equals slope, which is 3/4, times x, which is 8, plus b. So 3/4 times 8 is 6, plus b. Subtract 6 on both sides. So we get b to equal 3. Now remember, b equals 3. That's not an equation. That's just the new y-intercept. So write your final answer. Y equals new slope, which was still 3/4 because it's the same parallel, x, and then our new b is plus 3. Done. Pause the video and you try the next one. And there's my answer. Okay, example number 4. This time, hopefully you're going to notice that we're switching from parallel to perpendicular. So the line I give you is already in slope-intercept form. Yay, so I don't have to do any work there. So I get to just say my old slope is negative 1/4. My new slope, well, remember, perpendicular is opposite reciprocal. So if my old one is negative, my new one is positive. And then flip your fraction. So if I flip it over, it becomes 4/1, which is just 4. So is everyone good that we're going to use the new slope of 4? Okay, so now use your point in your new slope of 4. So y is 7 equals new slope, which is 4, times x from the point, which is 1, plus b. 4 times 1 is 4, plus b. Get rid of the 4 by subtracting it. So b equals 3. So y equals 4x plus 3. And plus 3 must be my favorite number because that just happened to work out several times here. It will not always be plus 3, so please don't think that. That's just a weird coincidence. Please pause the video and try the next one by yourself. And there's our answer. The last question. Okay, on the last question, it says a landscaper plans to install 2 new paths in the park. The new fountain path will be perpendicular to the east path and lead to the fountain. The new picnic path will be parallel to the fountain path and pass through the picnic area. What are the equations in point slope for each? And then rewrite each into slope-intercept form. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So for the east to the fountain. So our first one is east to fountain. So the first thing I have to do is figure out the slope. So to help me with the slope, I'm going to go get the ordered pairs. Okay, so I'm going to start with east only. Okay, so for the east, that's a red line or line that's drawn in for you guys here. So if I pick 2 points that are on that line, the first one I choose, that would be a ordered pair of 0, 2. And then another nice point looks like this one right here. And that would be the ordered pair 5, 3. So remember y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that would give me 3 minus 2 over 5 minus 0, which is 1/5. Now on this one, are we doing parallel or are we doing perpendicular? And if you go back, you'll notice east to the fountain is perpendicular. So my new slope, if my old one is positive, my new one is negative, and then flip your slope, flip your fraction, and it becomes negative 5/1, which is just negative 5. So now go back to the graph and fountain. what is the ordered pair for the fountain? Well, to me, it looks like the fountain is 15, 2. Okay, the first thing it asked me for is the equations in point slope form. So point slope form, if you don't remember, is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So that's going to be y. Our y number of the point is 2, but remember to go opposite. So minus 2 equals new slope, which is -5, parentheses x. And then our x number is 15. Do the opposite, which is minus 15. So there is my equation in point slope. Then it tells me to take point slope and put it into slope intercept form. So for slope intercept form, distributive property. So y minus 2 equals -5x plus 75. To get y by itself, add 2 to each side. So y equals -5x plus 77. So how does everybody feel about the first path in point slope and slope intercept form? If you feel great, fantastic. If not, make sure you write down what your question is so that you can ask me when you see me in class. So now let's go to the second part. The second part is we're going to do the picnic to the fountain. Okay, the picnic to the fountain. All right, so let's go back. What was our original slope? Our original slope back over there on the other side was 1/5. Okay, our new slope, well, what do we know about parallel? Parallel are the same. So is everyone good if we keep our slope as 1/5? Okay, so then the picnic. So let's go get the ordered pair for picnic. And that looks like it would be the point 5, 6. So now let's go into point slope first. So y minus 6 equals 1/5 parentheses x minus 5. So now we have to take it into slope intercept form next. So use distributive property. And that gives you y minus 6 equals 1/5 x minus 1. Add 6 to both sides. So y equals 1/5 x plus 5. And we're done.